Last week, Friday, we opened up a box of Lost Origin, a brand new booster box about a week early to kind of get a feel for what the set was looking like. And I told you guys everything that we pulled would be given away. And then I recorded my video on Friday and I forgot to do it. So I'm going to do it now. Congratulations to Cloud MTL. I don't know why I look up there. There's nothing there right now. That's just, I know where to put the name. Cloud MTL, congratulations. You are the winner of the Lost Origin booster box that we opened up last week, Friday. Let me know your information. Just shoot me an email. You can find me on Instagram at Danny.Phantump, on Twitter at Danny__O. I just need your mailing information so I can ship that out to you. With that being said, we're going to take a step back from Lost Origin. I hope your pulls are going really well. I've seen some really good pulls from a lot of people, and I've seen some not so good pulls. A lot of storefronts, actually, that opened up quite a bit of product that are struggling, just like we did. So it is completely random. However, the sample size that we looked at least gives us a rough idea of what pull rates look like. The set is amazing to open. The trainer gallery cards are fantastic. I do really enjoy the set. It's just a little bit different than what I was expecting. But we'll come back to Lost Origin on Tuesday. We got to talk about Evolving Skies. This set is nuts. This is a set that I have never ever seen in my lifetime before. Booster boxes are starting to creep up to that $200 mark. That is an all-time high for Evolving Skies. It's only been out for a little over a year, which means we're still kind of in a reprint window. We could see more coming. We obviously just had a huge reprint of the Elite Trainer boxes. You saw people buying them out at Costco. They come with that tin for $38. It's really good deal. And a lot of people, unfortunately, were flipping them on Facebook Marketplace, but it's really driven the ETB price down. We'll take a look at that in a second, but honestly, if we look at Evolving Skies as a whole and kind of compare it to what we've seen in the past, still in its reprint window, there are so many chase cards in Evolving Skies, which makes it different than any main series set we've ever experienced. Burning Shadows is really the only one that I can be like, okay, this one shot up from basically $100 a booster box right when the pandemic kind of hit and people were going nuts for Burning Shadows. It blew up to almost $300 and then kind of leveled off, stayed fairly consistent over the past couple years now. But that was one card. That was one card that people were chasing, and that's that Rainbow Rare Charizard GX in good condition because of very bad quality control when it comes to Burning Shadows, which is another story for Lost Origin because that has not been good. But Evolving Skies with so many different chase cards, so many different alternate art VMAXs, it's not just that Umbreon that's doing really well. And I'm going to flip you guys around so we can look at it right now. I have changed things up for these kinds of videos. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you enjoy these videos, please hit that subscribe button. We are closing in, inching closer and closer to 100K, which is the goal for this year. If we can make that happen, we've got 3 vintage booster boxes that we're going to break and give away everything to you guys. CGC is going to grade all the hits with a special insignia on the top. So hit that subscribe button down below. Share the channel. With that being said, let's jump into things. This is the booster box right here. We're looking at everything over the past year, which is basically when Evolving Skies came out. We had it out in August of 2021, but you can see it jumped up in September of 2021 before hitting that giant dip that all booster boxes saw in December of 2021. A lot of people left the hobby and they reprinted a ton of booster boxes. We got more Darkness Ablaze, we got more Vivid Voltage, we had more Fusion Strike, more Chilling Rain, more Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies actually had 2 print runs during that course of time, that course of 3 months between October, November, and December. It had 2 additional large print runs, and then you can see it just starts inching up and inching up and inching up and getting closer to that 190 a booster box before we had another reprint about a month ago, which brought things back down to earth where you could almost buy a booster box for MSRP, and now look what happened. All the way up to 195.89. That's an all-time high for Evolving Skies, closing in, and they're still selling. They are still selling on TCG Player, not nearly as fast as what they were selling, but they are still selling. At one point in time, this was down to 110.33. You could actually buy booster boxes on eBay all day for under $100. During that time, Vivid Voltage, all those booster boxes dropped below $100. It was absolutely insane in December of 2021. I don't know if we're going to have that happen again this holiday season, but looking back on it, it's crazy to think how far we have come since then, especially because a lot of popularity kind of died off in Pokemon, and now it seems to be doing just fine still. If we look at the Elite Trainer boxes, I only have one artwork here because I do want to get through things pretty fast, and it's very comparable, both artworks. This had a high point of 69.01, which it actually hit about a month ago before that reprint hit, and you can see it has really fallen far. This reprint for the Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes was absolutely massive. Currently, it's sitting at $43.88, which is really close to a one-year low of $40.04. Still not MSRP by any means, very close to MSRP, but when you factor in shipping and things like that, you can go on TCG Player right now and buy them for basically MSRP. If you factor in shipping costs, it's going to be even less than MSRP. So really, really good deal on Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes. Good to see a lot of those pop up in the wild. If we look at the Umbreon V Max, this is the chase card for a lot of people, and it's absolutely insane. That Umbreon kind of going for the moon. It looks so great, but look at how far this card has climbed over the past year. In December of 2021, after we had those mammoth-sized reprints for Evolving Skies, it did drop down to 170, 114, and a lot of people were like, okay, I'm going to wait until it gets to about 150. That's when I'm going to snatch it up. And look what's happened since then. It is just upward trajectory. We had a small portion of time over the span of about 3 months where it kind of leveled off, and now over the past month, it has absolutely shot up. There are still some available, but it's continuously climbing in price. You have a handful that are below $450, and then it goes up to $500 from there. It's absolutely insane. If you look, $425.17 is where it hit about a week ago. It's come down just a little bit, $418.78. I also put down the pop report for PSA at the bottom here so you can kind of get a look. There's a lot. This is just PSA. This number right here, 1,879, that's the amount of PSA 10s that are in existence. So there are quite a few. I know in the grand scheme of things, that's really not that much, but if you compare it to some of the older cards, some of the more vintage cards, the less populated PSA 10s, there's a lot of Umbreon VMAXs in that perfect 10, and you can see going down, there's over 2,000 cards in PSA that have been graded, and that's not even including the ones that are probably still waiting, sitting, because PSA is still so far behind. If we look at the Rayquaza V Max, also kind of doing the same thing on a much more slower scale. It's sitting at 225.97 right now. At one point, it hit 258.19. That was about a year ago after the set released. At one time, if you remember, this card was actually more expensive than Umbreon V Max. It did drop down to 152.33 in December of 2021. Before jumping up and kind of leveling off it, which is what we've seen now over the last few months, but still continuously gaining ground, the upward trajectory, and that's really what you're looking at. It hit that one-year low in December, and then just really started gaining ground. Leafeon V Max is actually the third most expensive card in the set right now. It's a really cool-looking card. I love the artwork on it. It is one of my favorites. 155.95 is its one-year high, which it hit in March 22 before we had that booster box reprint, which kind of brought things down a little bit, and a lot of singles were impacted by that reprint, but now they're starting to move upwards again, which is what we're looking at right now, which is why it's jumped back up to 133.04 after falling down to almost $100. At one point in time, this was at 75.65. Again, that was after the first massive reprint that we had, those additional 2 waves of Evolving Skies that we've had, and you can see it's just gone upwards since then with a little bit of a blip and then kind of leveled off a little bit. If we look at the Leafeon V Max, this was the third most expensive card before Leafeon decided it wanted to take that crown from Leafeon. 131.51 is where it's currently sitting, not too far off of its one-year high of 138.62. Its one-year low of 79.25. It also hit in December 21. You're going to see a pattern of a lot of one-year lows when you have these massive reprints alongside a bunch of other products. It really starts impacting prices, but it jumped right back up. You can see it spent the beginning of 2022 when a lot of people were talking about Pokemon dying and Pokemon falling off. These cards they were immune to it. They were doing really well. It jumped all the way up to 138.62 before having a little bit of a dip during that reprint, and now it started to go back up again, even with all those Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes getting cracked open. Sylveon V Max is the next one that we're going to look at. This one is sitting at 121.41, currently going down a little bit from where its high point was of 160.23, but still well above its one-year high of 87.08. I love the artwork on this card with Marshadow just kind of chilling here. It's a really cool looking card, but again, another chase card for a lot of people that's really performing well. Umbreon V is the next one we're going to look at, all up and down, all over the place, but starting to trend back upwards again after just getting close to its one-year low. Its one-year low it actually hit in December of 2021. That's where it was down to $77.12. For the most part, this card has been fairly consistent between $80 and $90 over the past year, currently sitting at $80.75. However, its high point of $94.58, it hit in April of 2022 before seeing a little bit of a shift downward. Then we're going to look at the Dragonite V. This card has done really, really well if you look at where it fell to. It fell in December of 2021 and then continued to go down a little bit. It actually hit 65.95. There was a point in time not too long ago where this card passed up Umbreon V as the most expensive alternate art V card in Evolving Skies. It has since changed positions again. Umbreon V took that back. But Dragonite V, a fan favorite for a lot of people and performing extremely well. Sitting at $80.88. It's been relatively steady over the last couple months. At one point in time, it was at 98.73 back in September of 2021. That was right after the initial print wave of Evolving Skies kind of came out, and then you can see it dropped downward before starting the trend back in the upward direction. Then we've got Rayquaza V. This one is sitting currently at 77.67. This is one of the few that has really maintained consistency ever since its initial drop, but you can see it has been immune to additional dips after that, which is very, very important. It might be a card that starts trending back in the upward direction. At one point in time after the set released, this was at 107.60 before falling down to 74.26, and it's basically stayed there since then, since the past 10 months. It did jump up to about $83, $84 at one point in April before coming back down, and now it's sitting at 74.26 currently. Then we've got the Sylveon V, currently sitting at 62.18, another card that's done fairly well, staying consistent. A lot of these other alternate art V cards have fared fairly consistently over the past 8 months or so. $70.21 was its high point, which it hit in November of 2021, and then dropped down in December of 2021, like all the rest of them, to its low point of 48.33. It went up a little bit, down a little bit. Now it's starting to trend back upward, sitting at 62.18 currently. Then we've got Espeon V. I think we've only got a couple more here to get through. 63.19 was its high point after the set release. This card did go down and saw a decent drop after the booster box reprint hit. 49.17 is where it fell to about a month ago, and now you can see it's closing in on that 1-year high, on record high for Espeon V, sitting at $60.88. It has really gained a lot of ground over the last month or so. Its 1-year high, 63.19. It's really just knocking on that door. Then we've got the Leafeon V. 51.01 is where it's currently sitting, not too far above its 1-year low, which it actually hit after that reprint hit about a month ago. 47.89 was its 1-year low. Still well off of its 1-year high currently of 71.19, which it hit right after the set released. You can see it trended downwards, then went up a little bit, and then it started trending downwards again. Well before that booster box reprint was even really announced, it started going downwards again in March of 2022, and then you can see it fell all the way to 47.89 before starting to go up just a little bit. And then finally, we've got the Leafeon V, which also followed the same pattern as what we just saw with Glaceon. It's sitting at 54.33 currently, which is well off of its 1-year high of $70.02, which it hit back in September of 2021 after the set released. You can see its 1-year low, very, very similar to all these other cards. It hit 46.42 in December of 2021, but then started going up and then started going down a little bit once we had that reprint announced. We knew it was coming, went down, fell closer to that $45, $50 mark before starting to go back up again. But these cards in general have been absolutely insane, and this is the last one that we're going to look at. There's a lot of other cards in the set, and if you go look at Evolving Skies, you can see that a ton of the secret rares, a ton of the rainbows, a ton of the full art trainers have very, very little value associated with them, because these are the cards that people want. These alternate art evolutions or evolutions and the Rayquaza cards and that Dragonite V are really what people are chasing, and that's really impacting the secret rare trainers, the secret rare energy cards. A lot of those full arts can be had for a much cheaper price point. So if you're somebody who's looking at getting the Evolving Skies Master Set and collecting all of them, definitely focus on trying to buy the rest of those cards, the Umbreon V Max, the Umbreon V Full Art, the Espeon V Full Art, those other higher rarity cards that are much cheaper right now. Don't worry too much about some of these cards. If you pull them, great, but at least start filling out that binder, because there's a lot of cards that are relatively cheap. But that's our Evolving Skies. Look ahead. I think that you might see additional reprints coming in the near future. We'll see what happens, but this set is only about a year old, but still something that is very, very much in demand. You would expect this to continue to carry over in format in January when rotation hits, which means Pokemon is going to want to keep this available to competitive players, so that way they have access to a lot of these cards, which means you think more would be kind of hitting the market. Really, once a set hits 2 years, that's when you're like, okay, probably not going to get reprinted anymore after this point. But we still got a decent sized window where we can expect more Evolving Skies in collection boxes, maybe another booster box or two, reprint runs, things like that. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for taking the time. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Evolving Skies. Leave a like on the video. Those things go a long way for the algorithm. Share the video, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, peace.